Okay, kind of starting over. I'll start over here. These were some old peach trees that I put in a few years back. These were put in and pruned in the classic peach tree. Well, actually, I guess most people actually would cut off the peach tree about halfway. However, I wouldn't do that anymore, just from what I've done. This peach tree was originally pruned with this main branch right here, and almost it's going downhill a little bit, so it's about chest height, maybe almost neck height actually. That first branch comes out, and then these shoots have come up from the bottom. I had added some soil around it, so I don't know if it's the rootstock or the actual variety, but as you can see, they're blooming, so might be able to find out this year. There's another little bloom on these, and these lower branches are also filled with blossoms right there too. So I really wanted it to fill in right here, just because I thought it was a lot more natural for the tree to be growing fully out from here. The deer have really ignored it for the most part. Last year when it was a little bit smaller, they were nibbling on it, but as you can see, very little deer damage. I think the end right there is snipped, but other than that, that's all I really see, and it's kind of bushing out, and I'm hoping it kind of continues in that growth pattern. Looks like they may have nipped out that low piece right there. I'll probably cut that off just so it'll heal over good. It looks like it may have something on the end of it, so that'll help just that wound heal, hopefully. This peach was planted last year, so it has grown a whole lot. I mounded up around this a lot, and this whole area back here, so this is kind of my full my existing food forest that has been planted. Some of these trees were actually just planted last year, some of them are a few years old. I'll kind of go over each one. And this one was planted last year, mounded up around it, and it just exploded with growth. It's probably 6.5 feet tall, and got lots of growth. I'm debating on this one. As you can see, there's still this is like a spider egg sac right here actually hanging there, so might have some good spiders coming out and insect predators. And there's a praying mantis egg sac. It's probably in some previous pictures. Also did some grafting on here, and we had these bugs that are new to the area this year, and well, I'll go back a little bit. So so this peach tree actually, this right here, this branch right here, this main branch is the actual variety of the peach tree, and these other branches coming out off to the side, I'm pretty sure the rootstock on this one. And so I really wanted to keep this tree like this in its natural form, but I'm debating on whether I want to see if the rootstock has any good fruit, or if it's probably going to have bad fruit. Then I'm probably going to cut it out, just because I'd like to have the actual variety, because the variety in the middle seems to be a really strong grower too. So I would hate to lose that one over the it's got some blooms on it right there. That's from the main variety, the named variety, right there in the middle. So as much as I hate it, I think I'm gonna cut out these extra growth from the rootstock, just because if it was the main variety, I would definitely leave them there, because I love this shape it's got. I think it's a really cool natural shape for the peach trees, how they're kind of bushy, and I'd like to keep them that way, because it just grew amazing this first year. Really tall, lots of branches, but I'm probably going to cut them out just so it will just put in the growth to the so I can actually have the named variety, because the rootstock variety got attacked by this bug and had some dieback on it that the main variety branch did not. It's looking super healthy, and so I'm assuming that the actual variety, named variety, is probably going to be a lot more adapted to our area, and this rootstock is not, and it's gonna probably hold back the tree actually with this extra growth from it, which I'd rather have the better genetics from the named variety, since the rootstock isn't doing as good as the named variety. I'm just going off on a tangent. Really don't want the rootstock at all, so I'm probably gonna cut it back, cut all the rootstock branches off, and then mound up above the graft just to keep any new growth, and to be from the named variety, and also so that one will root and just become an on root fruit tree, hopefully. So just to get all that out of there, and did some experimental grafting on all those grafts are done on the rootstock branches. So just interesting to see that and see if they come. I guess I'm probably gonna cut that off, sadly, but so I might have to redo the grafts onto some other things, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, moving on. Too long at that one. This is another peach tree that's a few years old, same style as the old one, cut to about head height. This doesn't have any growth at the bottom, and peach trees don't really, once you prune them, it's not all the time, but generally they don't tend to come back like other plants. Whereas, if you prune a pear or an apple tree, it'll send out shoots, for who knows where. But a peach tree doesn't, at least these haven't. And I'm probably going to mound up down at the bottom just to help it have more well-draining soil. This tag right here is just an experiment I did, just with how well writing with Sharpie on the tree would do. And it lasted for about 2 years, just with Sharpie on the plastic. So that's all that is. This was a peach tree I planted here last winter, and it did not make it. It's too wet right here. If you can see, we've had a lot of rain. You can probably hear. Just getting stuck in the mud here. It's kind of a wet spot. I'm planning to maybe dig this area out right here in front of these peach trees. Maybe make a little pool right here, actually, because it seems like the water kind of comes down in this little valley and gets stuck and creates a really wet area for these other fruit trees. We'll go over. This is a wild peach tree, I'm pretty sure. It is a seedling of one of the 2 larger ones that we just looked at. It came up. This whole growth is from seed its first year, and it's as tall as the other one. It's 6.5 feet probably also, and just got a great natural structure. I mean, it's perfect. I mean if I'm not pruning these trees, and but if somebody was pruning them and wanted a great shape, I mean, this one would be perfect in my opinion. Just showing how a natural form and just letting it grow without pruning can create plenty of well-structured trees. Not all, this may not be the case all the time. Pears seem to just go crazy, but I'm all right with letting them go crazy. But just such a great natural structure for this peach tree. There's some low-growing stuff down here. The deer have nibbled on them a little bit, but overall it's been amazing. The actual tree was a plum tree that was planted last year, and it just hadn't done much, so I may just experiment and leave these trees together. I'm pretty sure the peach tree will definitely outgrow the plum, and it may just totally overshade it and not do anything. This is a cherry tree. It's a few years old, starting to get some really height. I made this mound this past year, actually, probably like 2 months ago, so over the winter, so I'm thinking this will really help. This has got if you've seen my videos on the fruit mounds, I'll try to put a link below for those, but this is the ditch around it. Does a really great job of just catching and holding the water. Let's see if I can get a sunnier spot where you can see the water. So there's the water in there, breaking down. Lots of organic matter too that just runs down from the fruit tree mound where those are put on there, and helps this soil drain out, but also holding the water down here where the fruit tree has access to it and slowly seeping into the soil, but letting this soil be drain more easier right next to the fruit tree. Oh wow, there's a hawk. It's pretty cool. I must have spooked him because I guess he's been up there the whole time, but that was pretty cool. I can't remember the hawk. I was looking it up. I saw him yesterday and I was looking up what kind of hawk he was. Off the top of my head, I think he was like a red-shouldered hawk or something like that. Can't remember that. That's probably wrong. But so that's really cool seeing him. This is a blueberry right here. I think I put in another small blueberry on the other side, so I've been trying to do that with some of my fruit trees as I've had blueberries recently. I moved these over, and they're just 1 year transplanted, but they're doing pretty well so far. I'm hopefully thinking they'll really grow out this spring. I already see them. Looks like they got some healthy buds right there in the middle coming out, so they'll hopefully put on some good growth this year, do really good. This is an apple. It's in a really wet spot. It's planted last fall, so it's about 1 year old. In this wet spot, it's not quite growing well. There's another blueberry right there. Cherry tree, and yes, put the blueberries. You might say, whoa, those blueberries are close to that cherry tree. It gets a lot of sun, you know, down here at the base, so I really think it's going to be a good distance away. I had planted them quite far away, and so yeah, I've actually moved them closer. They used to be like more, if you're looking at the tree. So I moved them this winter. Originally I put them in last winter in kind of same, you know, directions from the tree, but they were, you know, maybe out here instead, and they were, you know, it takes them a while to get established, so having them closer, it should really fill in this area and a lot better, and still grow pockets of other stuff around it, but letting the blueberries, you know, I want it to grow up really against the trunk of these fruit trees, have some protection for them, shade them, and have edible berries down here around the fruit trees. So we'll see how that turns out. There's a lot of water in these holes, or in these little ditches around it. This is a pawpaw tree. It's a few years old. I don't have a second variety, so you can see the blossoms on here. These are blossom buds. So I don't know if I'll get pawpaws because I don't have a second variety for pollination unless there's one in the woods over there. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. These are some service berries. There's one little tiny guy. I've kind of not taking care of these like I should. And this is one right here, kind of leaning over. Feels really healthy though. Got lots of healthy shoots and healthy buds on there that are about to come out. So I really probably meant to transplant them earlier, but just have not had the time lately. We'll go back over to the other side and I'll start coming back this way so it's easier to keep track of.